guys, it's Shelby, and today I thought I would show you a little tour around my kitchen for a couple reasons. Number one, I was super excited to move into this house from our old garage apartment when we got this house because I was like, oh my god, I'm finally gonna have a kitchen that I'm not like embarrassed to show in my videos. And then I was realizing the other day, I've never done like a kitchen tour. I did like a pantry tour and a fridge tour thing, which you can go check out because I'm not going to be showing that in this video, but I never like walked you around and showed you like what we use in the kitchen to keep it low waste or what essentials I really like, etc. So I thought I should probably do that. And then I also thought, you know, I'm spending a lot more time in the kitchen right now. I don't know about you. And it's weird because I never thought of myself as like eating out very much before all of this happened, but now it's like the dishes just keep coming and keep coming. And it's like I'm in the kitchen a lot more now. And also it's been giving me something to do that's more like fun, like trying out new recipes. We recently made kimchi, which was so good. And yeah, I've just been doing more and more things in the kitchen, so I thought, man, I should probably do my essentials like kitchen tour thing. I also wanted to say, like, before we get started, because I was sitting down thinking about this and I was like, I know that the kitchen and like food in general seems like such a big part of zero waste living, right? Like bulk shopping and mason jars are just like the epitome of what zero waste living is. But you can definitely choose to be lower waste even if you don't have access to those things. So if you can't live the perfect zero waste life, if your kitchen doesn't look like mine, if you don't live the perfect zero waste life and you don't have bulk stores, there are still things you can do in your kitchen. But more than in your kitchen, you guys, please understand that what is out of your control is out of your control. But I really just want to take this moment to say that if you don't have control over certain things, like if you don't have access to lower waste grocery stores, that's not your fault. Don't get hung up on that. Instead, focus your attention in areas that you can change. So I just want to give that disclaimer. And oh, one more thing before we get started. This video is in partnership with Earth Hero. They've been really great to me over the years. You guys know I work with them all the time because they are the one-stop shop for sustainability. And obviously a lot of things that make your kitchen lower waste would be like reusable things, which we're gonna get into today, and a lot of them I get on Earth Hero. And Earth Hero, if you guys don't already know, is a carbon neutral certified B Corporation and part of 1% for the planet. All the good things you would be looking for in a company to support. They also have a 5-step vetting process to assure that everything in their store is actually eco-friendly. And I like to take every opportunity I can to say that Earth Hero is not just a zero waste like essentials shop. They actually have environmentally friendly, sustainable, and ethical items for all areas of your life. So like for instance, I just realized that they have a tortilla press on there. If you guys remember when I tried to make tortillas in a vlog, I'll link that video here. It's actually really cool, but so many of you who make tortillas yourself kept telling me, girl, get a tortilla press. Girl, you need a tortilla press. If you really gonna do this long term, get a tortilla press. So right before I went to film this video, I was like, I wonder if Earth Hero has a tortilla press. And they freaking do. Of course they do. I don't have it yet, but it is a brand that Earth Hero is now carrying called Verb, and that tortilla press is made from recycled aluminum. So like I say, Earth Hero represents a lot more than just zero waste swaps. You can turn to them to hopefully find an eco-friendly version of nearly anything in your life. So thank them for working with me over the years, but particularly on this video. And don't forget, you can get 10% off with my code in the description, and I'll have everything linked that I'm going to talk about and maybe a few other things as well below. So let's get into the tour thing. The most stereotypical thing about our kitchen that is zero waste is obviously the bulk shelf back there, which I've admitted before we did mostly for aesthetics, but those are all things that would have been in our pantry anyway, and actually this cleared up a lot of space in our actual pantry, which is good. All of those jars are either reused or bought from a thrift store. I have a lot of jars, and maybe you should collect jars to reuse them. Don't buy them new. I guess that is important for me to say. So that's the first thing. And then if you come over here, Madison is manning the camera today, you guys. Since we are in quarantine, my videographer couldn't help me, so Madison is behind the camera. Thumbs up for that. But I'm just gonna walk you through some of the drawers over here and what we have. So this one, basically we just have a cutting board. Something I guess I could say is to always try to choose natural materials over plastic. And then, but we do have a plastic one just because we've had this forever and there's no need to throw it away, right? Something I'm always trying to preach to you. And then where it gets really interesting, this drawer in particular, to start off with, we have sauces from restaurants. So these are things that like when you order takeout occasionally will come with it, but you don't really use it, like soy sauce. I feel like every time we order Asian food it comes with soy sauce even though we don't need it. And then like one time I was sick, okay, and we were in bed for like days. I ordered Taco Bell and they came with not even this. There was like quadruple this amount of taco sauces, but instead of throwing them out we save them and then hopefully, you know, they'll get used. And same thing goes for napkins. This is why we don't buy paper towels, because we can just reuse when you can't avoid them. Like if you go through a coffee drive-through and they hand them to you, or a lot of these come from, like I said, my sister, but yeah, that's the first drawer. Next drawer is something that I really was looking forward to when we got a house, because if you guys know, in our garage apartment, it was small, we didn't have upper cabinets, and I wasn't able to have like proper storage of things. It was harder in a smaller kitchen. Anyway, needless to say, this is my reusable silicone drawer. I just love my stasher bags. They're always in use. Actually, before we were gonna record this, we had to make sure we cleaned out any of the ones that we could, because the drawer was looking a little sparse and I didn't have as much to show you, because these are constantly in use. So Stasher makes the ones that stand up like this now, which is amazing. And then they have the sandwich size ones, the little mini snack size ones, and a gallon size one as well. We use all of them all the time. They've come in so handy. And we do still have some like plastic Ziplocs in our home because my sister lives here, but even she uses these because we have enough to go around. So it reduces a lot of waste in our house, and you can get Stasher bags on Earth Hero with my discount code. So keep that in mind. The last drawer is just things for, I don't know, kind of miscellaneous things. The reusable silicone baking sheets. We don't bake a lot, but when we do, these are good to have. And then my vegan cauliflower wraps. These are like beeswax wraps, but they're vegan, so not beeswax wraps. So you can use these to like wrap things that you would normally use foil for, or plastic cling wrap. These are really useful. A nut milk bag. I let my cousin use this to make coffee once because we don't have a coffee maker, and I let her use it at my house to make coffee, and now it's stained. But this is a nut milk bag predominantly used to make nut milks. I will say caulifloths, again, if you are looking to pick up any wax wraps, which it's really hard to find ones that aren't made of beeswax if you are vegan. I'm not completely opposed to beeswax, but if I can buy a vegan version, why not? So they're reusable, compostable, and Earth Hero sells them, so you can use my discount code on that. I'll show you my pots and pans drawer, but there's literally nothing special about it. And I thought I would take this opportunity to say that basically my pots and pans are a mishmash of all the pots and pans I've had through college. So I still have the same ones that I bought when I first went away to live on my own, and they're not great quality. It was a pretty cheap set, and something I've had on my to-do list for a while is investing in a nice set that I could keep for the rest of my life, because when you buy things that have non-stick, it scratches off. It's actually been proven to be bad for your health, so I don't want to do that. And then you can also buy them secondhand. Like, secondhand is definitely one of the most sustainable ways to get anything in your kitchen, so you could do that. Or there's always the option of buying quality over quantity. So I am in the headspace of looking into investing in like a nice pots and pan set. But for now, I'll show you what we have. It's not the nicest, and it's not organized. I told you guys in another video that I would be trying to install a pot organizer. Haven't gotten around to that yet. But yeah, I just thought I would take this opportunity to say, like, that was a secondhand steamer we got from a Goodwill. All the red pots and pans are when I thought I wanted a red kitchen. Not so much in love with that now. And it's just like a mishmash of stuff that's down there. Nothing special. I can't give you any advice there, really. And then also my cabinet of containers, I guess you would say. Again, I will say you don't have to go out of your way to buy glass containers if you already have plastic ones. Plastic containers with your food can leach chemicals and things that are not good for your body. So definitely don't heat anything up in them, but you don't have to run out and buy new stuff if you already have stuff to use. But truth be told, we didn't really have a lot of containers when we first came to the zero waste part of this lifestyle. Like, I never threw away any plastic containers. I've always been a fan of glass ones. Some of these we've had since college, and the bamboo ones we added more recently just because we needed more. But yeah. So those are most of my containers, except my stainless steel ones are behind you over here. And a lot of those I did get from Earth Hero, so I'll just show you those containers really quickly. And we keep them here. Mostly those are used for to-go stuff because they're easier to carry. They're not breakable like glasses, and they're not plastic, so I use them most of the time when we're leaving the house. So the garage is right there, and it's just like, boop, and you take it and you put it in the car to go eat. Well, not right now because we're all in quarantine, but you know what I mean. Okay, so aside from those containers, we'll move back over here to the sink where some more kitchen essentials are. Obviously, a huge part of having a zero waste kitchen means doing a lot more dishes, and I can tell you, especially since we've been being at home a lot more, been a lot more dishes. A few essentials here that I wanted to talk about are just like what we use to do dishes, and you can also go see my cleaning routine for more in depth if you want to learn more, but everybody in the house has a different preference of what type of brush they like to use to clean their dishes. So it's me, my sister, and Madison. So this is a sponge made of all natural materials. We purchased them on Earth Hero. But this is the one that Madison likes to use. I am not a fan of sponges. Think these things are nasty. My sister loves this brush. I don't know why, but this is the brush she likes. She often leaves it on the counter like this instead of in our cute little thrifted pineapple. But so we have that brush, and then the brush that I like to use is over here, and it's by Red Decker. So this comes off of here, and you just replace this head. This head is completely compostable, and Earth Hero just picked up Red Decker, so I thought that was really exciting. But I've been using this for years, since like a couple years in our garage apartment I used it, and I was really excited to see that they're on Earth Hero now. So there's this, and then obviously zero wasters gotta have their straw cleaners. So those are in here, and the straws are back here, and I do have a whole video comparing all the different like materials of straws, if you will, so I'll link that up here if you want to go check that out. But if you use them, don't go buy straws just for the aesthetic, but honestly I use most of these, including our little ones for hosting when we have like drinks with people at our house, and so having the straw cleaners is necessary. And then the bottle brush, also if you use a reusable water bottle all the time, gotta have a bottle brush. It's actually really hard to find a bottle brush that's made of not plastic and not animal hair. It took me a long time, honestly, to find a plastic free brush. So like if the bristles here were not plastic, but there also wasn't like horsehair or pig hair, which is weird and gross, honestly. So this one's by Clean Canteen. I picked it up on Earth Hero, and truth be told, I bought it years ago and bought 2 of them so that I would have a replacement because we use it so much, but it's held up really, really well for years, so I don't think I'll ever have to replace that. And like I say, for many things, secondhand is key, secondhand for the win. So our dish rack is secondhand. It's an all natural material, obviously, and it's held up really well. And then in this cabinet, there's some cool stuff over here. Something I would definitely recommend if you want to live a zero waste lifestyle is to have a dedicated place in your home, in your garage, somewhere where you can store jars for reuse. So some of these, the labels have been taken off. Some of them still need the labels taken off. And actually, I forgot to mention you this. Toothbrush is also in our like brush holder thing because I will use this to get the stickiness off of labels. These are super, super handy after your toothbrush is not usable on your mouth anymore. Definitely save it and reuse it for things like this. But yeah, these are just all of the jars that are like in the process of being able to be reused, whether you're using it for storage, because I use this jar to store like rubber bands and twist ties and things, like if you get veggies that have rubber bands or the twist ties, and I use this jar to store that up here. And then some of the jars are secondhand, but most of them are just reused and waiting for me to find a reason to reuse them. And then this is my sister's stuff. Plastic dishes, plastic to-go stuff. These are a lot of our, what do you call it, coffee cups. Have a little bit of an addiction to buying travel mugs. Well, actually Hydro Flask, all the Hydro Flasks we have found. This one we found at our old community garden, and then this one I found at the Goodwill bins. But my Clean Canteen, what you can know what's in use is always what's right here. So usually it's like my water bottle, Madison's water bottle, my sister's water bottle, and the Clean Canteen like coffee to go mug is the one we've been using recently because I got it on Earth Hero. It's my more recent purchase, and I really like this color. So we haven't been able to get coffee to go in a little bit, but I've been using it when I leave the house to go on walks and things. And then also, like I say, my sister lives here, so she still has like plastic Ziplocs, but I learned this hack right here. See this little like hanging rack? I really love this thing. I went and searched secondhand stores to find them after I saw a kitchen organization video by Ali Cherry, and I really got inspired to go find some more of these things and organize things. Because think about it, like a lot of times you see you don't use the like upper half of your cabinets, and this just gets you like that space back, which I thought was so cool. So other things I want to show you guys are basically some of our utensils or like gadgets maybe that you use for cooking. And normally I would tell you like don't buy into the gadgets of the kitchen, you know, like I feel like it's such a thing on infomercials, on like Facebook ads, to find all of these different kitchen gadgets that are basically single use, like they only have one use, one thing you can do with them. And I would generally say don't buy into that, but if I want to be more serious about what I'm saying, be more intentional about what you purchase for your kitchen, and don't buy into all the gimmicks. Like really think through what you're gonna buy and evaluate if you'll actually use it. So like for instance, I would have never bought this myself, but my sister has this can opener, and it seems a little extra because you don't need all of this for a can opener, but we don't have one. We basically only had like a handheld one, Madison and I, but I use this thing all the time, and it seems a little gimmicky and dorky, but it's something that we use all the time. So if it's a dorky little thing but you'll actually get use out of it, I say go for it. If it's a dorky little thing that you're gonna use a few times and then just go back to using whatever you were already using, probably don't buy it. I will say prioritizing things like natural materials and metal is what I go for in the kitchen. There are some, I think, plastic spoons in here, again, that are not mine. So I don't really use these very often, and we keep those in the drawer. And then up here, we keep all of our like wooden and metal things. These are all mine, and they're all secondhand too. I didn't buy any of these new. So the spatula and like all the wooden spoons and the whisk is metal, all that sort of thing. That's a more eco-friendly option to go for than plastic, and they're obviously also gonna last you a lot longer. And my knife set is also something I've had since the beginning of college that I'm looking into buying something more quality that will last me for the rest of my life. But trying to be, again, very intentional about what I buy, because as we know, everything we buy has a pretty massive footprint. So being aware that you're buying something that is quality over quantity is a good idea. And I can show you this here. These are all of our drink cups. All of the cups here are either secondhand or reused. And I've actually like thrifted some of these glasses in videos with you guys. Like, let's see. Does anybody remember this cup? I actually have two of them. I found another one at a thrift store after I found the first one, but it just has this really pretty like floral pattern on it, so I love that one. And then obviously when you have guests over, you don't want to use glass for kids or even like a lot of guests. They're just not as careful with your stuff, and we've had issues with that. So when Madison's nephews came over to visit last summer, I picked up these Clean Canteen stainless steel cups. So these are like obviously not plastic, not breakable, and I just really like them. They work really well when you have guests over. Got these on Earth Hero, they're by Clean Canteen, and this one I got secondhand. So that's basically all the cups we have, either reused, secondhand, or the odd one that I got from Earth Hero for a very specific reason. Again, more than anything, be intentional about what you buy and make sure you use it. Then for oil, we do use, typically, who knows the next time we'll be able to do this, but typically use this oil bottle I've had for years, since before college, I think. I kept this from when I still lived at my parents' house. We just refill it at Whole Foods. We used to refill it at Ingredients, but you can just buy oil like this at Trader Joe's. I think this bottle is like $8, and I'm sure a lot of people just rebuy this bottle and recycle it every single time, but I've just been reusing it for a very, very long time. That's what stays over here. That's also why it has like multiple bulk like stickers on it. But there's that. And then I've talked about this in a couple videos before, but it's a reusable oil sprayer. You just like pump it up like this, put the oil in it, and then you spray it. So this is definitely an essential. But I think as far as the kitchen goes, those are most of the things I use that I hope are helpful for you, except my reusable bags are in here, and I have something little to say about them, so I'll show you. Honestly, reusable bags on a whole are not something that I'm super picky about. Like, whatever's in the kitchen, I'm gonna take it to the grocery store and use, except that I have the collapsible ones I talk about all the time from Chico in my backpack, and they come in handy all the time. But if I'm setting out to go to a grocery store, it doesn't matter what bags I have, I'll use whatever's on hand. But I will tell you that using collapsible produce bags is really helpful because they don't get lost as often, and also I keep some in my backpack for, you know, in case I need them ever. But the brand that I bought mine from and that I've been recommending for years stopped making their collapsible produce bags. So now Earth Hero sells this brand that makes collapsible bags. So you can see that they just stay small and they kind of stay together. Whereas if they're not collapsed, they can get everywhere. This has just been my experience. And then unfold them at the grocery store and use them. So as long as your grocery store is still letting you do this, which I haven't had any issues with. We've only been in the grocery store once since this began, to be honest with you, but they didn't have a problem with using reusable bags at my grocery store. But I am kind of making this video with the assumption that someday things are gonna go back to normal. So I just wanted to tell you guys that Chico stopped making those reusable produce bags, and that there is an alternative on Earth Hero. All right, well, I hope this was interesting for you to kind of see what a zero waste kitchen looks like per se. It's not completely zero waste, to be honest. We're more low waste, I would say, but the zero waste word is what works on the internet, so that's what we're calling it. But if you have any questions, let me know in the comments if I left anything out that you want to know about, because there's actually like a lot more that goes on in the kitchen, but you can't fit it all into like a 15-minute YouTube video. So let me know if you have any questions. I'll be answering them in the comments, of course. And a huge thank you again to Earth Hero for sponsoring this video. If you guys want to get a discount on their site, they have a lot more than just zero waste swaps, like I mentioned, but you can get 10% off with my code in the description. And remember, until next time, you cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that you could do. Bye, guys.